How do you stand now with the possibility of going to jail?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just waiting any day now.
Do you think about... Do you think about that, though? Do you ever think what you'll do if you...
Well, yes, you think about it at nights when you're in the bed. You think about, you know, if I went this way, what could have happened if I went this way, and I've figured it all out.
Yeah.
No people gain freedom until some have to die, some lose their wealth, some give up money. And like I would say, the white race, when your people first got here, they didn't have these cameras and televisions and jet airplanes and air conditions and Howard Johnsons and Holiday Inns and Americana and Hilton hotels. They had to fight the Indians, watch their daughters raped and scabbed. Took 6 months to go from here to Los Angeles. Now you can do it in 3.5 hours. But nevertheless, they kept fighting and cutting down the trees. And they didn't see this, but they made a way for the present whites to rule. And the Japanese in World War II, they had these flights called suicide missions. They knew they would die, but they ran that plane, right? His life meant nothing when it came to the freedom of his daughter, his son, the future of his nation. And I would say, like the astronauts, 3 white astronauts almost got stranded in space, and their wives were waiting, and the children were worried because they could have been out there now, still in orbit.
Yeah.
But for the progress of white America in space, 8 astronauts died on the ground, and 3 almost not got back. But whenever people want to really make progress, some have to sacrifice a lot. And I like to say, white America right now is spending $30 million a day in Asia. Black and white boys are dying unjustly for nothing just to free somebody else. So why should I worry about going to little old jail to free my poor people who's been catching hell here for 400 years?
I went on to Amazon Prime. I was like, you know what, let me see if there are any documentaries on Yahweh. So went in the search bar, typed in Yahweh. That came up. Went out and shared it on my platform. That was my night. In terms of the backlash, or what people call it, we're in 2022. History is not supposed to be hidden from anybody. And I'm not a divisive person when it comes to religion. I embrace all walks of life. You see it on all my platforms. I talk to all races, all cultures, all religions. And my response would be, it's not about educating yourself on what Semitism is and what anti-Semitism is. It's really about learning the root words of where these come from and understanding that this is an African heritage that is also belonging to the people. Africa is in it, whether we want to dismiss it or not. So the claims of anti-Semitism and who are the original chosen people of God, and we go into these religious conversations and it's a big no-no. I don't live my way like that. I don't live my life that way. Excuse me, I grew up in a melting pot, and I say a melting pot of all races, white, black, red, yellow, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, and you can see the way I live my life now. I'm not here to be divisive, so they could push their agenda. I don't want to say they, because I'm not identifying any one group or race of people, but I'm in a unique position to have a level of influence on my community, and what I post does not mean that I support everything that's being said or everything that's being done, or I'm campaigning for anything. All I do is post things for my people in my community and those that it's actually going to impact. Anybody else that has criticism, it obviously wasn't meant for them.
It has been said that I have 2 alternatives: either go to jail or go to the army. But I would like to say that there is another alternative, and that alternative is justice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Muhammad Ali has just refused to be inducted into the United States Armed Forces.
He refused induction on the grounds of his religious convictions on war.
My conscience won't let me go shoot my brother or some poor hungry people in the mud for big powerful America and shoot them for what? They never called me nigger.
You know, Muhammad Ali is really important in this because when Ali refuses induction, there's a famous column in the New York Times written by Tom Wicker where he just wonders out loud what would happen if you had 100,000 Muhammad Alis. If you had 100,000 people who were prepared to do what Muhammad Ali just did, you would bring this war to a stop. So the draft resistors set that kind of as a goal.
It took an all-white jury less than a half hour to find Muhammad Ali guilty of all charges and specifications. He was sentenced to the maximum, 5 years in prison, and was fined $10,000.
No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't.
I find nothing amusing or interesting or tolerable about this man. He's a disgrace to his country, his race, and what he laughingly describes as his profession. He has been found guilty. He is out on bail. He will inevitably go to prison, as well he should. He's a simplistic fool and a pawn.
Do you share the same concern that Muhammad has for his draft status?
Oh, I certainly do. My views on the draft are very clear. I'm against it. And I think the sooner our country does away with the draft, the better it will be for everybody.
Hopefully I'm understanding what you said, and I want to make sure I get it right because I don't want to misquote any part of it.
I don't expect understanding from a media conglomerate group that sincerely talks about the game of basketball, and then we bring up religion as if it's correlative at times when it's convenient for people to bring it up. So please just be direct with your question so we can move on from this and I can talk about the game and go home to my son, Elohim, and my wife, Marlene, okay?
Just check it out. So he posted this right here, and it's, I guess, Harley Samuel Pasternak. And he's a Canadian-American personal trainer, motivational speaker, author, blah, blah, blah. You get it. He said, I was told that if I expose the truth of the bad business practices, everything is going to be taken away from me, including my black children. And Kanye posted these alleged messages from this Harley dude. He said, I'm going to help you one of a couple ways. First, you and I sit down and have a loving, open conversation, but you don't use cuss words. And everything that is discussed is based in fact and not some crazy stuff that dumb friend of yours told you or you saw on a tweet. Second option, I have you institutionalized again, where they medicate the crap out of you and you go back to zombie land forever. Play date with the kids just won't be the same. And he said, what should be obvious by now is that I was raised to stand for my truth regardless of the consequences. I will say this again. I was mentally disdiagnosed and nearly drugged out of my mind to make me a manageable, well-behaved celebrity.
Am I to take it that this was, what you shared was not something that you've even watched? This was, you did watch it, or either watch it or read it.
I had a lot of time last year to read a lot. Read a whole bunch. Good and bad about the truth of our world.
So then do you, I guess, understand or not understand those that might imply that that work had anti-Semitic leanings in it? I only ask this because the tweet is still up there, so I presume.
We're in 2022. It's on Amazon, a public platform. Whether you want to go watch it or not is up to you. There's things being posted every day. I am no different than the next human being, so don't treat me any different. You guys come in here and make up this powerful influence I have over top of the adultery of, oh, you cannot post that. Why not? Why not? I don't hear an uproar on that. I'm not here to be divisive on what's going on this or that. I'm not comparing Jews to blacks. I'm not comparing white to black. I'm not doing that. That conversation is dismissive, and it constantly revolves around the rhetoric of who are the chosen people of God. And I'm not here to argue over a person or a culture or religion on what they believe. No, this is what is here. It's on a public platform. Did I do anything illegal? Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did I do anything illegal? Did I hurt anybody? Did I harm anybody? Am I going out and saying that I hate one specific group of people? So out of all the judgment that people got from me posting, I just, without talking to me, and then I respect what Joe said, but there has a lot to do with the not ego or pride of how proud I am to be an African heritage, but also to be living as a free black man here in America, knowing the historical complexities for me to get here. So I'm not going to stand down on anything that I believe in. I'm only going to get stronger because I'm not alone. I have a whole army around me.
Okay, Reed, while we're on the topic of promotion, why did you decide to promote something that Alex Jones said?
My post was a post from Alex Jones that he did in the early 90s or late 90s about secret societies in America of occults, and it's true. So I wasn't identifying with anything of being a campaignist for Alex Jones or anything. I was just there to post. And it's funny, and it's actually hilarious, because out of all the things I posted that day, that was the one post that everyone chose to see. It just goes back to the way our world is and works. I'm not here to complain about it. I just exist.
And to follow up on the promotion of the movie and the book.
Can you please stop calling it a promotion? What am I promoting?
Put it out on your platform.
But I'm promoting it? Do you see me doing? Do you see me in front of
putting it out there,
the
people
title?
are going to say that you are.
Yeah, I put it out there just like you put things out there, right?
Yeah, but it's not.
You put
stuff,
things out there for a living, right?
Right, but my stuff is not.
So let's move on.
Filled
let's
with
move on.
Anti-Semitic.
Let's
stuff.
move on. Don't dehumanize me up here.
I'm not doing that.
Another
You're
human
free
being.
to post
I can post whatever I want. So say that and shut it down and move on to the next question.
But Kyrie, you have to understand that by
I don't have to understand anything from you.
It's not me.
Nothing.
By
It's no people that you're making up, bro. Move on.
But by posting
move
what
on.
you
Next
did,
question.
Anybody
Do you guys have any more questions for me?
And they're going to say,
you guys have any more
does he have
questions? Because this is going to be a clip.
beliefs?
This is going to be a clip that he's going to marvel at. Is this any more questions?
But you're not answering the question.
Oh, this is another answering your question. Oh my God, let's make another Instagram clip so we could be famous again. Next question.
Kyrie, basketball.
And I want to talk about the Jewish comment. It's actually proving the exact point that I made.
This is from Saturday. This was the 405 overpass. And this disturbing scene unfolded right there.
The company declared in a press release, after a thorough review, the company has taken the decision to terminate the partnership with Ye immediately, end production of Yeezy-branded products, and stop all payments to Ye and his companies.
The financial downfall of Kanye West continues. Kanye's losing hundreds of millions of dollars as we speak, and you better believe he's got something to say about it.
All y'all want to do is have somebody apologize and sweep under the rug your bullshit that you've been doing the whole time.
The unprecedented fallout of Kanye's recent comments about Jewish people is growing by the day, and he's now losing all of his lucrative business deals. The list of companies, banks, and individuals who have cut ties with Kanye is getting longer by the day, and even Kanye's longtime collaborator, Adidas, has dropped him.
Adidas said the anti-Semitic comments are unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous, and they violate the company's values.
On top of that, the pressure is growing on major streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple to ban all of Kanye's music, which means Kanye could lose virtually all sources of income. The canceling of Kanye by corporate America is unlike anything we've seen in recent history, and as you can imagine, social media has a lot to say about it. But Kanye West also has something to say. Despite being almost completely deplatformed, Kanye's refusing to be canceled, and his reaction to getting dropped by Adidas and losing more than half of his money was not what we expected.
That's how this town has been running for so long. They'll mute you. They'll try to mute you at all costs.
As for fans, while many are saying Kanye got what he deserved, others are pointing out the hypocrisy of companies that are now parting ways with Kanye because they didn't bat an eyelid when he was making anti-black comments. So let's break down what's really happening and how Kanye reacted to losing hundreds of millions of dollars and multiple business deals.
We fighting not in flesh and blood. This is a spiritual warfare at this point.
By now, you must have heard that Kanye is catching major blowback over his comments about Jewish people. We all know that Kanye is no stranger to courting controversy. However, until now, Kanye's career and finances have never been seriously affected by any criticism. In fact, he seemed to thrive on public outrage. But it looks like this latest wave of backlash against Kanye could actually cost him his entire fortune and career. Back in 2020, Forbes crowned Kanye hip-hop's second billionaire after Jay-Z, and his net worth was estimated at $1.3 billion. But fast forward just 2 years, and Kanye's billion-dollar empire is crumbling to pieces, and all major corporations are cutting ties with him. So what does Kanye have to say now that he's losing all his money over his anti-Jewish comments? When Kanye appeared in early October at Paris Fashion Week sporting a White Lives Matter t-shirt, most people thought this was just another PR stunt and that the controversy would blow over quickly. However, Kanye welcomed the outrage with open arms and decided to take the controversy to a whole different level. It all started on October 7th, 2022, when Kanye leaked his conversation with Diddy, implying that Diddy is controlled by Jews. After this, Instagram immediately locked Kanye's account. However, Kanye then took to Twitter and shared a tweet that set off a huge uproar and ultimately cost Kanye way more than anyone could have imagined. The tweet read, "I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. The funny thing is, I actually can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew also. You guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who ever opposes your agenda." 2 days later, Kanye lost access to his Twitter account, but then he decided to go on an interview spree and double down on his comments about Jewish people.
I prefer my kids knew Hanukkah than Kwanzaa, At least it will come with some financial engineering.
The Jewish people that I'm talking about don't have to understand. And that is that privilege that I'm not going to allow. When I wore the White Lives Matter t-shirt, the Jewish underground media mafia already started attacking me.
Well, thank you for allowing me to say what I meant due to the fact that I was blocked by Jewish people.
My question for you is, do you now regret saying
I update
DEFCON
every
3
day.
on Jewish people? Are you sorry you said that?
No.
Don't think it matters. You should be.
Absolutely not.
Is there somebody in your life close to you that you trust enough to call you out on your bullshit? We're all full of shit sometimes.
What's my bullshit?
Well, some of it I pointed out today, but I don't know you deeply enough.
Though? What was the bullshit?
Jewish media, Jewish...
That's not bullshit. The bullshit is that the Jewish media won't admit.
Your dad was right. Your dad was right. The words you used, you weren't...
And I said it. You're not going to make me say it 800 more times.
The tweet, the DEFCON tweet, nah, he ain't releasing the T because he's Jewish. And I'm like, see, this is my exact point that I'm making. Like, Jewish people have owned the black voice.
By the way, a few days after Kanye's Drink Champs interview aired, signs which read, "Kanye is right about the Jews," were put up above a highway overpass in Los Angeles, causing even more pressure on companies like Adidas to cut all ties with Kanye. In response to Kanye's comments, a host of celebs and other public figures criticized Kanye and called on all companies to stop doing business with him.
I think we have to call it like it is. Kanye is anti-Semitic. These comments are hateful.
The backlash against Kanye has now started to impact his finances, and in the past couple of weeks, multiple companies terminated their partnerships with him, including Vogue, Balenciaga, The Gap, Foot Locker, TJ Maxx, Def Jam, and his talent agency, CAA. Johnny Depp's former lawyer, Camille Vasquez, also declined to work with Kanye, and athletes Aaron Donald and Jaylen Brown both announced they're leaving Kanye's sport agency, Donda Sports. Meanwhile, Kanye was kicked out by JP Morgan Chase Bank, and they gave him a deadline to transfer his Yeezy business to another financial institution. On top of that, the pressure is growing on Spotify and Apple Music to remove Kanye's entire discography, the same way they did with R. Kelly. And while all these companies and individuals that cut ties with Kanye did so just days after his problematic comments went viral, Adidas really took their time. Kanye's partnership with Adidas started back in 2013, and over the years, Adidas Yeezy grew into one of the most successful fashion collaborations in the world, generating approximately $2 billion per year for Adidas and making a huge cultural impact, comparable to that of Air Jordans. And this is probably why Adidas was so slow to respond to Kanye's anti-Semitic controversy, which provoked a huge outcry on social media, and an online petition asking Adidas to drop Kanye went viral. Finally, after reports emerged that Adidas's stock plummeted as a result of their refusal to part ways with Kanye, Adidas issued a statement on October 25th, announcing an immediate end to the Yeezy line. In their statement, Adidas said the company does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech, and they slammed Kanye's recent comments and actions as unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous, adding that after a thorough review, the company has taken the decision to terminate the partnership with Ye immediately, end production of Yeezy-branded products, and stop all payments to Ye and his companies. But what does Kanye have to say about Adidas cutting ties with him after almost a decade-long partnership? Well, here's the thing about Adidas dropping Kanye. As a result of their decision, Adidas is expected to lose $250 million by the end of the year, but this is unlikely to harm the company in the long run. Kanye's net worth, on the other hand, sustained a much more devastating blow, and after Adidas dropped him, he instantly got knocked off Forbes' billionaires list. According to Forbes, Kanye's net worth has now dropped to $400 million, and what's left of his fortune mainly comes from his real estate, cash, his music catalog, and a 5% stake in ex-wife Kim Kardashian's shapewear firm, Skims. So now that Kanye's officially lost his billionaire status and saw the larger chunk of his net worth disappear overnight, does he regret all those comments he made? Well, the bizarre thing is that Kanye reacted pretty calmly to the news that he's no longer a billionaire after Adidas dropped him, leading to speculation that this is exactly what Kanye wanted to happen. The Hollywood Fix recently caught up with Kanye to ask him how he's handling the massive financial loss, and he basically said this just proves he was right all along.
That was one of the most freeing days, you know? I had to get up out of those big corporations so I could get directly to the people. And I want to talk about the Jewish comment. It's actually proving the exact point that I made. So many actors been behind the scenes. So you even got people like Ari Emanuel asking people to not do business with me. That's how this town has been running for so long. They'll mute you. They'll try to mute you at all costs.
They can't cancel Kanye.
We are canceling. What'd you say?
They can't cancel somebody.
I mean, you definitely. Look at that. Even
God's on your side, man.
God is on all our sides. They're afraid of us not being afraid anymore, and we're not afraid anymore. They can't use all the tactics. That's some audacity, right? It seems pretty one-sided if you really think about it. So we just lean into it every day. I know God has a plan for us. We fight not in flesh and blood. This is a spiritual warfare at this point.
And when asked what message he has for everyone who's trying to cancel him, this is what Kanye said.
What have you got to say to people that are trying to cancel you?
You can't cancel him. I'm here. What are we talking about? We here. We ain't going nowhere, baby.
Kanye 2024.
And if I ever went anywhere, we know why. You understand what I'm saying? Exactly. So we here.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14 verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was Abraham, born in the city of a black man called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel.